Good evening and welcome to CB8 Speaks. My name is Allison Kopf. I'm a member of Manhattan's Community Board 8 serving the Upper East Side and Roosevelt Island. This evening, we're interviewing newly appointed members of CB8. Our first guest is Dr. Katherine LaGuardia. Katherine serves as a physician at Mount Sinai and a special advisor to the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. She's also the granddaughter of former Mayor LaGuardia and served as co-founder and chair of the LaGuardia Foundation, a Yorkville-based NGO dedicated to sustainable development and the legacy of our former mayor. Katherine is also a member of the Carl Schurz Park Association and the 84th Street Association. Welcome, Katherine.
Thank you, Allison.
So why did you get interested in joining Community Board 8?
Well, I have been a longtime member of the district, actually, to my surprise when I got interested in this. Over the past 30-plus years, I've lived in the 60s, I've lived in the 70s, and I've lived in the 80s. It was really since our new mayor got elected that I began to take an increased interest in the community around me and my own involvement in the 84th Street Association, Carl Schurz Park Association, which is very near my house, really began in a very simple way, and I think it's a good message to other people in the community about how and why they should get involved in their communities. It really started for me with a tree outside my door. It wasn't much more complicated than that. It was, which I took as kind of a quality of life issue. The tree pit had been neglected, and I took it upon myself to get involved with the local block association and help them raise money, helped get a tree guard, and we now plant it every year with funds from the block association. And from that little amount of square footage, my vista to the city expanded a lot. And I now work for the Department of Health, and I'm very pleased to serve under our current Commissioner Bassett and Mayor de Blasio.
That's really, that's truly amazing. I think it's always great when people have such an intimate tie to something that's, directly outside their street, and it ends up getting them more involved. What has been your favorite sort of thing that's happened on the community board in your short term serving already?
Well, it has been a short term for sure. I had never been to a community board meeting before I started getting involved, so I really didn't know what the issues were that I'd be confronting. But I must say that one of the things that has struck me is there's really nothing too small that can come to the community board. It's much like me and the tree outside my building, that local residents come before the community board with their concerns about how city policy is going to change their own quality of life. And I think these are often important health and safety issues, but there's also a little bit of NIMBY that goes on. I think I was quite struck by the vociferous outcry to the city bike placement. And I think that has been an interesting process to watch from the city side as well as our community. We know that the bikes are coming, and I think by and large the community supports that, but people are concerned about where these docking stations will be placed and the safety issues that come along with that. And one thing I will say about our community district, the local political leaders are very involved and inform us, and the local community leaders are not shy to bring these issues to our attention, and that's been very informative.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an interesting timing for everybody to start because the city bike issue had just sort of started coming back up to our meetings, and it's happened at every meeting since, so I think it's probably been a good one to see from start to sort of where we're at now.
Yes.
One of the parts of serving on a community board is serving on smaller committees, issue-based committees. Do you know which committees you're interested in serving on yet?
Well, I'm looking at all of them. the Manhattan Borough President's Office sponsored a leadership series for community board members, and I just completed that. I went to probably almost all of them.
How was it? Which ones did you do?
I thought the land use ones were the most interesting, of just learning about zoning in the city. And I also, the city planning one was fantastic. The resources that are available to the average citizen online are truly remarkable. You can put in your own address and learn a huge amount about the building that you live in. And that was very informative and will probably inform me going forward regarding committees. I would say that the issues in our particular community district, for me, focus largely, that I'm interested in, are largely in the environmental and sanitation. I think probably the biggest issue that we're facing in the community board is the 91st Street transfer station. And I certainly want to be an active voice in seeking a solution that satisfies the members of the community and makes appropriate use of that space. So I'll probably seek to do that. And I think air quality is also a concern, in that the Upper East Side, for all of its concentrated wealth, still has some of the worst, the poorest air quality in the city.
Absolutely. It's interesting, the Marine Waste Transfer Station, so it's in my backyard as well. I live on 90th and 1st, and it seems that, you know, the community board's been outspoken about this, opposing the Marine Waste Transfer Station for years now, and it just seems to continue moving on. Do you see the community board taking a larger action through the Environmental and Sanitation Committee, or?
I certainly hope so. Thus far, I've seen that the community board can have an impact in influencing the way the city ends up making decisions. And I think this alternative plan, which the controller has now embraced, of the move the ramp, I think could possibly, and I suspect, although I don't know, that had some origin within the community board. I like solutions like that. That is a win-win solution. It means that the transfer station may still continue. We're certainly not hearing any word that it's not going to continue, but we can move the way that the garbage trucks enter Asphalt Green, and I think that'll make a huge difference. So I hope that the community board can play an influential role in finding a viable alternative solution.
That's great. I think we're almost out of time. Is there anything I didn't ask that you'd like to cover?
I think you asked excellent questions, and I look forward to serving with you on the community board.
Excellent. Thanks, Katherine. I look forward to working with you as well.
Thank you.